Hello guys, welcome back to calculus class, and this time let me go over this review. So your test questions are basically same as this review plus the two questions that I told you, like question number 1 from 1.10 and question number 4 from 1.11. So that's what you need to study, but we can come back to this one later. So let's start with this one. A salesman tracks the number of cars he sells through the Model C. So that's a function where C of M is number of cars sold and M is the month for 0 to 24. So that represents the month. So what does a C of 10 represent? That's very simple. That means you're talking about the Y value, right? So it means the number of cars sold in the 10th month. That's what it means. And second, so now this one is a slope formula, like this one, right? So what does this represent? So slope is always means a rate, which means a speed. And you want to find average speed between 8 to 16. So I'm going to say the average rate of change of the number of cars sold between 8th and 16th month. That's what this means. Third one, now we have the same thing, the rate, but now the number we have is 7 and number very close to 7. So this one is the speed of that specific moment. So we call it, this is the instantaneous rate of change of cars being sold on the 7th month. I think I forgot the here, but that's what it is. So I call it average rate of change because its number is between 8 to 16. But this one is instantaneous rate of change because you're trying to find the speed of car this dealer is selling at 7th month. Okay. So that's the basics of calculus. Now let's get into very easy limit questions. So question number 4. It's not safe to plug in 0 here because if I plug in 0, that's going to be 0 as a denominator. So what you have to do is you have to multiply here by x plus 19 plus square root of 19 because now you want difference of square. Oops. And you got to do the same thing for the bottom. So when you solve this one, square root of x plus 19 times square root of this one is same thing. You just get inside out. And I don't have to do this one because in middle number will cancel out. So I gotta do the last one. Square root of 19 times square root of 19 is minus 19 because this. If it was just number 19, then you gotta do 19 times 19. But since it's a square root, you just get 19 out. And here you have x times this left over. What I mean is these two. I just put this together, okay? So that's what I get. And obviously, I really need limit x approaching to 0, but I don't usually write it because I'm too lazy. So let's look at this fraction. Do you see 19 can be canceled out like this? So I'm going to cancel out 19. So I have this left over. And look, finally, I can cross out x, right? So if I cross out x, I have 1 over square root of x plus 19 plus square root of 19 left over with this limit. Now, because we crossed out x, which will give us 0, now it is safe to plug this one in here because that's not going to give us anything crazy. So now I'm going to have 1 over square root of 19, because 0 plus 19 is 19, plus square root of 19, which will give you 1 over 2 square root of 19. Now, if you're not sure why I get 2 square root of 19, you have to know the difference between square root of 19 times square root of 19. That may give you 19, but square root of 19 plus square root of 19 gives you 2 square root of 19. Just keep that in mind. Just this common fact, okay? All right, let's go over question number 5. This one is very simple. I see this denominator. This one can be factorable, so I'm going to put -3 and +2. If I factor it, I'm going to get +3 and -1. So I have x plus 3 over x plus 3 and x minus 1. As you can see, I can cross this one out. So I have 1 over x minus 1. Now, it's safe to plug this -3 in, because that's not going to give us 0. So I get -3 minus 1, which is 1 over -4. Question number 6. What I'm about to show you is not formal math. This one is just shortcuts, because actual math is really more complicated steps. But if you do it, it's very simple. I can take out, if I have a number, I can take it out. But there's a square, so it's going to be 3 squared on the top for the bottom. If I take out 5, but I also have a square here, so it's going to be 5 squared. And this will cancel out. So I have this. 3 squared is 9, 5 squared is 25. This one only works for sine, because remember, sine x over x is equal to 1 only if limit x approaching to 0. If you have something x approaching to infinity, pi, or 3, something like that, this shortcut does not work. This one only works if limit is approaching to 0. Okay? All right, question number 7. We have to evaluate this, and x is approaching to 2 from left side. So let's find out something that's slightly smaller than 2, which is going to be 1.999. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this one in. So I'm going to get absolute value, 1.999 minus 2 over 1.999 minus 2. Now, if I do it from the bottom side, 1.999 minus 2 is negative 0.001. I should get the exactly same thing, but except this one is going to be inside of parentheses. I mean, inside of absolute value. So remember, this is going to be positive, and bottom one is still negative. And positive divided by negative is negative. So I'm going to get -1. That's it. Any question? I mean, even if you have a question, I cannot answer at this moment, so I'm sorry. Now let's try question number 8. But question number 8 is very similar with question number 5. So do it by yourself. I will just give you the answer. It's going to be 15. Okay? Now let's do number 9. Number 9 is very simple and easy. You have to do the simplification, top or bottom, okay? This one, we have to do top. So how can I change this 1 into fraction? Remember, 1 can be any number like this, or if it can be 8 over 8. In this case, if you simplify, you gotta be x plus 1 over x plus 1. So I'm gonna rewrite it. 1 over x plus 1 minus x plus 1 over x plus 1. But as I said, if you have a negative number, that's going to be confusing. So I'm going to change it to positive and flip the sign here, like that. So let's do it. I have x plus 1 in the bottom. On the top, 1 minus 1 can be canceled out. So I only have negative x left over. All right, so we just simplified top. So let me rewrite it. It's going to be negative x over x plus 1. Now let's do the bottom. So over x, and then over 1. I just changed x into x over 1. Let's do it. Inside goes to bottom. So I'm going to put x times x plus 1. Outside goes to top. Negative x times 1 is just negative x. And as you can see, x disappear, right? So on the top, I still have negative, so it's going to be negative 1 over. In the bottom, I have x plus 1. Let's talk about the limit here. So limit x approaching to 0. All right, now it is safe to plug in 0 here. So I'm going to put negative 1 over 0 plus 1, which is going to be what? Negative 1 at the end. Because negative 1 over 1 is just negative 1. So that's it for this simple front page. Make sure you know how to do every single questions. You will have about 2 questions about this, 2 questions about this as well, okay? In the back side, it's very simple and easy. Let me go over question number 10. So question number 10, this one, you just have to know where to plug this one in. For example, in this case, where does a negative pi from negative side belongs? So that's a smaller than negative pi. And as you can see here, x is less than negative pi. For this one, I'm just using sine. So I'm going to use a sine, negative pi. This one, if you use calculator, you're going to get, that's going to be equal to 0. Now let's talk about p. Do you see if limit approaching to negative pi? So if it doesn't have a positive or negative sign on the top, in that case, you have to find both positive and negatives. So you got to use both of them. So let's plug in first. You have to know sine of negative pi. Also, you have to know tangent of negative pi. What I mean is sine is from here, tangent from here, because both has negative pi. So what do you get? If you put this one to calculator, you're going to get 0 for this. Tangent, you're going to get 0. And do you see these two are equal to each other? You're going to get 0 then. What if limit approaching to pi over 4? So and this one doesn't even have a positive negative, just like here. So you have to use, do you see these two as a positive or negative? You have to use this one as well, this and this. So you got to use it twice. So tangent, pi over 4, cosine, pi over 4. So if you put this one to calculator, first one you're going to get 1, second one you're going to get square root over 2, or something like 0.7. And do you see these two are not equal to each other? So I call it DNE. Last one. What about function pi over 4? Which means this one should be equal to pi over 4. That I cannot use it because x should be smaller than pi over 4. But I can use this because x can be greater than or equal to pi over 4. So this one is cosine pi over 4. And if you use calculator, you're going to get square root 2 over 2. Well, you will probably get 0.7 or 7, something like that. So that's it. Question number 11. Pause the video, do it by yourself. You should know how to do this one at this point, okay? Now, what about question number 19? It's simple. Do you see f of x is between g and h? And limit is approaching to negative 1. So simply what you have to do is you have to find g first. So g of negative 1. You just plug this one in. Like this. And when you do it, you're going to get the number, which is negative 2. You also have to find negative 1. So you're going to put sine pi over 2 times -1 minus 1. When you do it, you will also get -2. And look, we have exactly same answer, right? So you can finalize your answer like this. If these two numbers are not same, you can either write DNE or you can write something like this. Like, you know, in the case, these two are not same, right? That's it. What about question number 20? What about this? I cannot show you at this moment, but we know limit is approaching to -3. So you have to find something slightly smaller than -3, which is this, and slightly bigger than -3. You might ask, why does number look like this? Remember, negative number, this is bigger than -3 because it's a negative number, okay? So what do we do? If you have a calculator, first, you're gonna make sure you cleared all the everything, get a new document, and then first, you're gonna put this one into the graph. After that, you're gonna put control document. After you put control document, you're gonna go to the add calculator. Remember, add calculator, and you're gonna click variable. And if you click variable, you can put f of x. And after this, what you're gonna do is you are gonna put every single numbers in here and see what you get, okay? Since you don't have a calculator, I cannot show it to you, but what I can show you is this is what you're gonna get. And this is what you're gonna get. Do you see this one is approaching to 4, this one is approaching to 4. So in this case, your limit is gonna be 4. But if you have something like this, I'm pretty sure I will see this mistake. Let's say I got something like this. Remember, in this case, this one is not approaching to 4. 4.999 is more close to 5. If they are not equal to each other, this one is gonna be DNE. So keep that in mind. Just like in this graph, just like this jump, that's what it is. So that's about it. After this, make sure from 1.10, you study question number 1, and from 1.11, you study question number 4 from the note. I will give you test question exactly same numbers, or I may switch one number, whichever. That's gonna be it. So if you have any questions, just text me through the band, and that's about it. See you guys. Love you. Bye.